What's going on there, folks? Good morning, good afternoon to some out there. It's the Earthmaster here on this Wednesday, September 7th, 2022 date. It's about 11:17 p.m. California time, 11:17 a.m. California time. Not quite nighttime yet. Latest quake out there on the Earthquake 3D globe shows a little bit of movement. A 4.0 earthquake out in the area of the, looks like right around the Indonesia area outside of Papua New Guinea. Some deeper movement kicking up here into the Earthquake 3D globe. Before we jump into earthquake activity, I kind of want to chat about real quick some activity kind of making the social media news this morning, it looks like. Up in Washington there, this is Mount Rainier. And looks like some folks been calling in of reports of some steam or some smoke coming out of the volcano. Now I'm going to put this video into motion here because some of these news agencies or the USGS folks are stating that this is just merely snow or dust blowing up into the air. But, you know, something similar to what we've seen with Mount Shasta here last month. But I went ahead and drove up there and confirmed that was not steam coming out, but just due to the geysers melting. But check out this video, guys. I'm going to put it into motion here. Check out this steam kind of rising up out of one spot within this area. That does not look like blowing snow or dust. This is definitely something that's heated, and see how it stays pretty consistent up there in the air. So I don't believe that is any dust, although the USGS folks says this behavior seen in the video is not unusual. In fact, there are volcanologists at the volcano this week installing monitoring equipment to confirm. Okay, so that's one view, but let me show you this other one here. Let me back out of here real quick. Go up to this other one. This is, by the way, on the Como News Agency website, and this one right here is another shot. I know we got some clouds building up here in this angle, but look what they're stating right here. Is Mount Rainier venting? Video of the mountain this morning looked like it might be, but now they're saying it's not erupting, and that is most likely clouds and snow blowing off of it in this image. So you guys see that? Definitely some clouds building up, but as we zoom into it a little bit closer, let me expand this here a little bit so you guys can see. Again, you guys can check this out for yourself. It's on the Como News Agency, a public post out here. Definitely got quite a few clouds building up on it. But man, hold on a second here. I'm kind of just seeing this firsthand this morning as well. Definitely a lot of clouds building up out of it. But that's crazy. Let's go back to the other post real quick and kind of see where it all began. That's going to be this one down here that shut off here just about an hour or so ago. And to me, it kind of looks like it's on... hold on a second here. Let's go back. To me, it kind of looks like it's just in one spot coming up out of here. Doesn't it? I mean, it looks a little odd. So it looks like they are installing some equipment and whatnot to confirm what's going on up there. I looked at the earthquake map earlier, and doesn't look like there's anything showing up. By the way, just a little bit of historical data here on Mount Rainier. It is a beautiful, beautiful volcano up there. It's a stratovolcano in the Cascade Volcanic Range, right, in the Pacific Northwest. It is located about 59 miles southeast of Seattle. It's got an elevation of 14,411 feet. The last eruption here was back in 1450 CE. So that's it's what, how many hundreds of years? A little bit time has passed since we've seen any type of eruption there at this volcano. There's a wealth of information on it, but I wanted to show you guys earthquake activity up there around Mount Rainier. Let's bring in the I'm going to bring in the PNSN network here real quick and see what we got. Mount Rainier. This is from the PNSN, Pacific Northwest Seismic Network. It monitors earthquake activity and tremor up into the Pacific Northwest. Now, there has been some small earthquake activity here over the last couple weeks. There's a couple seismograph stations installed here. Some of these work, some of these don't. So we're going to go ahead and check this out real quick and see what we got for earthquake activity. And there's one that obviously doesn't work. Why? I don't know. Here is a Camp Muir one. This is kind of and a lot of times here when we look at seismograph stations here, we look for earthquake activity, and most of the time it's very spiky, sharp signals on the graph. And then sometimes we see areas like this, just a full-blown clutter of environmental interference. And it's very possible that this could be a big wind event going on up here. And we'll check out the windy map here in just a second. I want to get an idea of how windy it is up there. But looking at the smoke angle here, or not the smoke, but well, it could be smoke, it could be steam, it could be snow, or buildup. You know, a lot of times with the elevation here, even Mount Shasta does it. When we get some upper level jet stream winds, it forms clouds at the higher elevations, and it just kind of sticks around the area of that elevated event, of that elevated land. So with the wind coming out of this direction, it looks like here from this region, hitting up against this bank of the volcano, the top of the crater, it's very possible we could be getting some clouds just forming from that specific type of event up there. Notice that there is snow still up there. It's a little bit lighter color here, but there is still some snow. But it's interesting to look at. It's definitely something to watch for sure and see how this plays out. Not 100% certain that it's not steam or volcanic activity here from Mount Rainier. And then I'm not 100% convinced that it's just the upper level winds producing these conditions to form clouds up there. Again, let's go back here to this graph here. This is kind of what I want to look at and see, is this earthquake activity? Is this volcanic activity? Or is this high wind speeds up there at the very top where these seismograph stations are, creating this convection of clouds on top of the volcano that kind of looks like steam coming out. So there's one seismograph. That's going to be the Camp Muir, I believe. We're going to check another one out here a little bit further north. Camp Sherman. Hopefully this one's working here too. Possibly, maybe not. So they said they're installing some equipment up there to confirm if, see, you can't even tell anything on this one because it's just completely overblown. And this one down here is way off the summit, so it's hard to tell. But it is picking up some earthquake activity. Notice that a couple very small earthquakes there at the southern flank, it looks like, of the volcano, Mount Rainier. So it's definitely hard to figure out, folks, 100% certainty. Another thing we can check when it comes to volcanoes is the GPS monitoring systems that they have installed here. Let me bring this up here real quick. Just going to look into this a little bit. Not going to make this completely on this topic. Oops. And there's definitely some GPS stations up here throughout the area. So I'm not for sure what they're installing to confirm. Let me go back and read to you what these guys said here. Volcanologists at the volcano this week installing monitoring equipment to confirm. All right, so what kind of monitoring equipment are they confirming or installing? And then again, we get into this image here, this video, and we see a whole bunch of clouds building up here. But then again, you know, I don't know. I'm not 100% certain on this. So back to the GPS, we can look at trends here. This is some older data. Hopefully we have something up here that's new. 2014, really? At a volcano? Here's one that goes to 2022. Notice the extreme adjustment here, and that could have something to do with moving the equipment around somewhere else in the vicinity of where it once was, or it could be an antenna adjustment. This would not just pop off like that. Otherwise, we'd see a huge earthquake. We would have known about it. But that's some type of adjustment, them moving it. Here is the trend. This is the vertical uplift of Mount Rainier since about 2018, and there's a downtrend. It's been down. It's been in that graph there for a little while. I'm not noticing any extreme uplift in 2022 of vertical displacement there at Mount Rainier, and that's that is at this one right here, right? I believe. Is there another one underneath there? Oh, it just looks like one. No, it isn't. It isn't that one. Hold on a second here. Was it this bottom one? Yes, it was. Okay. So this one only looks like these other two stations are not operational. This one here is about the only one, and it's showing downtrend. See what we got up here. This one is operational and showing about the same. These are in mm, so if we were to see some swelling or uplift, we would definitely see a very sharp rise in adjustment there, but I don't see it across the board even in 2022. It looks like every year around this time we do get a little bit of swelling, and that could be that could have something to do with the snow melt. Seems like every year we get that little uptrend. Notice that every single year, and that's kind of what we're going into right now. So not 100% certain, folks, what it is, but definitely keep an eye on it. It's pretty cool to look at. It's pretty awesome. I'm glad people are noticing it, right? Any type of smoke or signals coming up out of a volcano could definitely, you know, make people wonder what's going on. But looking at this image more here, definitely looks like either this thing's hot and getting ready to blow, and it's producing a whole bunch of steam at the summit, or these are just clouds building up. Either way, those are, yeah, those are some crazy looking clouds. And there is some wind, but not an incredible amount of wind up there. Just looking at the way this kind of rises here up off of this area. Again, this is from Como News. They have it on their Facebook page if you guys want to check it out yourself. Pretty cool to look at. I could probably sit here for hours and stare at this video. Getting even a little bit of formation up here. Again, there is snow up there. And for fun, we'll check out the Windy app and see what we got for current conditions up there at the Mount Rainier area. And see what we got here real quick. Stand by. Looks like, look at that massive high pressure system out here. That's the one that's been cooking us. It's supposed to be 113 degrees again today here in Northern California. So not good. Let me go into wind gust here over the area of the Cascades. There's definitely, hold on a second here. So this is only about, where are we at here? What'd they say? About 65, 85 miles from Tacoma area? I think that's what it was. Again, looking at this area up against the Cascades, into the Cascades, there is some wind kicking up. Appears that it's out of the north. So let's see what we got for wind speeds here, but not super windy. That's what I'm kind of wondering about here. We got gust over here 24. Higher up, gust up to 32 miles an hour, 33. And it's out of the northwest. It's really, really hard to say, folks, exactly. Mount Rainier. That's gonna be this area right here on the map, right down here. And then again, this may just be at the towards the surface level as far as the wind speed goes. But either way, overall, higher up and around the volcano itself, showing definitely some wind speed kicking up there. But yeah, we'll continue to watch it and update as needed. Again, not a whole lot of earthquake activity over the last 2 weeks, only a couple spotty earthquakes. And looking at the map here today from the USGS, not really showing anything up here around Mount Rainier. Alrighty, so backing out, looking at the rest of the earthquake activity, what do we have out here along the west coast? A little bit of movement here across California today. And by the way, these guys, holy smokes, these guys down here in Southern California are getting a drenching of rain coming up here in about 3 or 4 days from a hurricane that's going to be coming up here from the Gulf of California into Southern California, right? Hurricane hitting Southern California, well, it won't be a hurricane by the time it reaches there, but they're going to get quite the soaking from the remnants of this hurricane. I'm going to cover that a little bit later in tonight's update. And we talk about how that excessive rainfall right over the southern section of the San Andreas Fault. I know it takes a little while to soak down there and lubricate these faults, so to speak. I mean, this thing is sprung up it's wound up like a spring so tight. That's the southern segment here. I can't help but wonder with this excessive rainfall amount if this may actually induce or trigger the big one down here. It may take a couple months for us to notice it, or it may just take a couple weeks. But either way, this is kind of a big deal event that's coming up. And again, I'll cover it a little bit later on this evening because this video is already a little on the lengthy side, and I haven't even covered the earthquake activity. So little movement across the board throughout Nevada, stretching up against the mountain range here around Cedar, Utah. We're starting to see that swarming activity once again kick up here right up against the mountain ranges there, like we've been noticing here over the past few months. As far as specific earthquake goes in California, looking at the 2.5 map and above, just a couple spotty earthquakes across the west coast. Most of this movement here, all microquakes up and down the board. And things starting to fill in a little bit around the Ridgecrest area, the San Jacinto Fault Zone, are normal areas that typically see this microquake activity in any given day. The southern branch of the San Andreas Fault, not showing too much activity right now. The rest of the country, Texas, a little bit of activity outside of the OKC area, and a couple quarry blasts out there as well. Some movement around the New Madrid zone. Some of that from last night, some from this morning time frame. So a little bit of activity. Nothing along the east coast, though. Puerto Rico, South America region, all showing just very quiet conditions. South Sandwich Islands, though, has been bumping pretty good yesterday and today. Of course, we had a couple 4s and 5s yesterday. Today, 4.9 and a 4.8. So things still kind of increasing down here in this area. Seen another earthquake here in the South Pacific Ocean. A 5.9 earthquake. That one coming in, looks like overnight time frame in the divergent boundaries out here. The separation of the seafloor with those earthquakes. A spreading, I should say. Spreading center. And low activity throughout the Fiji area and Tonga region, although most of this activity pretty shallow for this region. 4.6 at 10 kilometers. Over here around the Java Trench, filling in a little bit. 5.7 kicking off here in the last hour. 50 kilometers deep. So a couple 5s kicking off today. Remember, these divergent boundaries tend to strain the rest of the plate where they're already locked up, so to speak. You know, just kind of like a jigsaw puzzle. You spread these two plates apart a little bit, and it no doubt increases further activity here to the west. I wouldn't doubt it, though. That's kind of why we're seeing the west coast light up a little bit more today. thanks to this activity down south here in the South Pacific Ocean. Further west, though, things coming to a halt. Not seeing a whole lot of activity right now. Yellowstone National Park, supervolcano. Only a couple small microquakes here across the region overnight. Not a whole lot this morning so far. But there's still a little bit, right? Not a whole lot, but still some kicking in. Let's give a quick check of the space weather activity. And things are back into the green, folks. Not a whole lot of potential for solar flare activity. Only a 50% chance of a C flare. Coronal hole is long gone. Looking at the magnetic fields here of the sunspots, these are not looking all that complex here. The latest imagery here shows some sunspots, but they're not building. Maybe possibly this one up here getting a little bit more complex with the blues, yellow, orange, and greens all kind of building in a little bit. Maybe this one here, but nothing spectacular currently. So 3096 is the one that we may need to watch, right? Let's see here. 3096. Let's see what kind of field that harbors. This was put out yesterday, so it's possible this may be updated. It just shows a beta magnetic class, but I think there's a little bit more complex magnetic field that it's harboring right now, so we'll check a little bit later for an update. Let's see. Still somewhat elevated here with the current conditions as far as the KP index goes. Notice the forecast still continuing to call for a 3-4 on the KP index board. So possible higher latitude storming up there with the Aurora Borealis up there. But it looks like after that, things going to die down pretty quickly here back into the green with very small chances of anything popping off as far as the solar storming conditions go. Looking at the current data, here's that separation of the line indicating the BZ tilt with the interplanetary magnetic field pointing south. Solar wind speed and density all pretty much neutral. There's not a whole lot of activity to work with right now, but when we do get that southward tilt, it does allow some solar wind speed to flow right in. But all right, guys, look for tonight. Again, I'm going to be covering that weather event in Southern California coming up here in a couple days. I think about 3 or 4 days is when it's going to happen, and we'll cover more about how well, excessive rainfall can trigger these faults that are very built up. A lot of strain has been built up here in the southern branch, and this is where a lot of the excessive rainfall is going to form. And that, who knows? When was the last time that happened? I know they get thunderstorms and monsoonal moisture, but an extreme event with this heavy rainfall, Storm Prediction Center is already creating a discussion on it. So that it'd be interesting to see, right? You can't help but wonder, again, how long will that take to go down into the fault system? Where is it locked up the most? Is it down below the surface? Is it at the surface? Is it halfway? We'll take a look at that a little bit more in detail a little bit later on in the update this evening, folks. So stay safe out there. Again, if anything changes on the Mount Rainier volcano, if it's confirmed to be clouds, and I'm kind of up in the air right now. It's 50-50. It kind of looked at first in the first imagery, first video, kind of looks like steam shooting up. But then a little bit later on, get a massive buildup of clouds building up over the Mount Rainier summit area. So we'll keep an eye on it, and of course provide updates out here. And if any official word comes out from the USGS, we'll issue it out here as well. So have a good day, folks. Stay safe. We'll chat you guys later tonight with that very important update. Have a good one. Peace out.